Hello, everybody, and welcome to our absolutely
Super impromptu.
YouTube live hangout as we discuss. I'm going to put my phone on mute here so it doesn't keep.
Sorry, mine's not
oh, no, you're good. You're good, just so it doesn't vibrate.
Put it on my chair.
But we're going to talk about the great news of today that Pixar's Onward is going to. Well, first off, Onward is going to be the title of the next
Dan Scanlon's next project.
Yes, absolutely.
2020.
Yes, so we're very excited about that. Oh boy, here we go. No, you got one bum eye. Yeah, we've got people in the chat already. So we've got Riley Wheeler in there and Tropical Flamingo, the Incredicar fan films. Onward, what is that? Well, you're about to find out some more information. So what we're going to recap in this video. We're going to keep it informational, and then, of course, we're going to have some entertainment value as well and just some silly stuff. So we're going to talk about when the film was originally announced at the 2017 D23 Expo. We're going to tie like that initial conversation of it back to the title, and we're going to talk about the vocal cast, what the movie...
The 4 people we know.
The 4, yes, the 4 that have been announced. We're going to talk about a couple of other things as well, but as we're going through this, we're going to talk about the logo, and the silly stuff I want to talk about is when this was announced, and I just want to chat a little bit about where we were when it was announced and what was going on.
Yes.
And
breaking news always happens.
Well, often happens when
we are not near a computer.
Right. So we'll talk about that, but we'll save that till the end. So for the people that are still around, they'll hear the silliness of what we were doing and shoving a burger in my mouth. And so Pixar Free K, welcome. Well, I was eating lunch. So as we do with most of these, we have a special guest with us as well. So if you've been on these before, you know who he is. Welcome, Dan, the Pixar fan.
Hello, everybody. It's been a long time. Super excited to be here.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So just as a high-level overview, if anybody doesn't know Dan, he does a blog, a website about his personal collection of Pixar memorabilia. And he also talks about some events, some news, things along those lines as they occasionally come across. But most of it is around the events, and most of it is around the merch that you have in your personal collection. Does that sound about right?
Sounds about right.
Okay, fantastic. And you can always find more at danthepixarfan.com. So anyways,
in celebration of the news, we are wearing our MU gear.
Yeah, so I did the MU hat. I got the MU Ryan Spooner shirt, and then I have the Harryhausen shirt from Monsters, Inc. I figure also qualifies. Inc., U, all kind of there.
Since we don't have any Mater in the Ghostlight merch, which is another one that Dan Scanlon did.
And the reason is because Dan Scanlon directed Monsters
University.
So, so let's start diving into, Riley Wheeler, Dan the Subway Man.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that's... Hey, I guess Riley knows me from Twitter.
There we go. Yep. And then Tropical, do you think Onward could possibly be included in the Disney parks as a ride or a show in the near future? Well, let's see. I mean, time will tell.
Okay, so let's talk about it.
So what do we want to talk about first? Do we want to talk about the vocal cast announcement? Do we want to talk about a level set of what the news was in...
level set.
Okay. So we're going to take a step back in time. Come with me, everybody, as we go back and we look at August of last year, 2017, when Dan Scanlon went on stage during the 2017 D23 Expo, which is the Disney Fan Expo that happens every 2 years. So the film, so this is what Dan Scanlon said. The film is inspired by the question he's always asked, or this was part of what we wrote up. Who is my father? The story is set in a world with no humans, only elves, trolls, and sprites. Anything that would be on the side of a van in the 1970s, says Dan Scanlon. In the film, we're going to tell the story of 2 teenage elf brothers whose father died when they were too young to remember him. But thanks to a little magic still left in the world, the boys embark on a quest that will allow them a chance to spend one last magical day with their father. At the event, Nerd Reactor, who was there, also expanded on the suburban fantasy world and mentioned that it contains homes modeled after mushrooms and that unicorns were sifting through the trash and were considered rodents in this world. So yes, we were saying even back then we can see a rainbow unicorn from Inside Out Easter egg that's going to happen in this one. Mm-hmm. And then Fandango also posted that there were talking trees in that world as well. So
now we should kind of talk about the personal story behind the, I guess, premise of this movie.
So Dan and his brother Bill, who actually had this happen, they realized, I think it was a story of that it was an old cassette that they had heard his dad's voice for the first time and realized that he had never.
Well, because Dan's father has passed away when they were both young boys, he and his brother.
So yeah, so this is literally like mirroring a little bit of his life, and Dan's pretty close with his brother. If you follow him on Twitter, they go back and forth, and it's funny.
It's a funny Twitter account.
Yeah. So
I think I really grasp when the things are really like a personal story, because you just feel more connected to it.
Yeah.
But MU, sure, not everyone goes to college, but like a lot of people can like understand.
It's a very relatable event, yes.
But to have this, and they say like in Disney movies, it's always like a parent dies or something like this. But I don't know. I just feel like such a connection when you know that, okay, this is like from the director's personal history.
I mean, that's amazing.
Like there's going to be feelings that you're going to feel that you don't not necessarily feel in different other movies, kind of thing. I just think that's
knowing the truth behind it always adds more. I mean,
that's what I was trying to say.
What were you thinking about when, like, because you were at the D23 Expo, right, Dan?
Not this last one.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Can you believe how fast that went by?
Oh my gosh, I know. So what?
I went to the last one, but I didn't. But hopefully this next one.
Yeah, same too.
But like, general thoughts though, like when I heard that, obviously as Pixar fans, we always hope for a story that has like a deep emotional core. That's kind of what we look for in these movies, I think, and even better, it's more real and sincere, and when it's coming from a personal experience. Many times people can say that films can be emotionally manipulative and things like that. They're just trying to get emotion out of you or whatever. But when it's sincere, when it's a personal story, the emotion is just that much more real and that much more raw. And I feel like this kind of story coming from like his life, like you said, literally mirroring his life.
Right.
I feel like it sounds like a great start to an emotional story that we can all connect to, especially us who both have brothers. You have a brother, right?
No,
Julie does.
I have a brother.
Oh, you don't, TJ?
No, I have 2 older sisters.
Well, either way, I'm sure you'll be able to relate. But many of us have brothers, and that bond, and the times that you love each other, and the times that you drive each other nuts. Like I'm sure they'll, hit on those notes as well. But
absolutely, also very relatable. I mean, yes, siblings in general, but I'll connect with it because I have a parent that passed away. So
and I also think that this is interesting because kind of like Coco, you can understand the loss, and you understand the loss in a different way where it kind of makes it feel like happy in a way, like you just feel good about where things are going. But this is kind of that loss where you're yearning to hear, you're yearning to know,
to learn more.
And I just feel like that's so.
Yeah, they go on a journey to see.
Like, holy moly! Like that's just to have one more moment. And unlike Coco, where it visited the worlds and everything was, beautiful. This to me just seems like how awesome that it's like trolls and elves, because it just feels not darker but more mad. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this one.
Yeah.
And when I was thinking about it today, I was actually telling my sister, I was over their house, and they love Pixar as well, and her son, my nephew, really loves them. So I was telling them about this, that it was announced today, and I was talking with her, and I was like, you know what? It's cool when you see Pixar kind of take on new family relationships. Like we had the father and son with Nemo and Marlin, and we had the mother-daughter with Merida and Eleanor. We have a lot of friendship movies, Mater and Lightning. We have Mike and Sully, but I don't think we've ever had a brother-brother movie. Am I right?
No, I don't think so.
Tuck and roll.
Yeah.
Well, no, but that was not the main.
I know.
Tuck and roll.
Yeah, so like the main role, like the main relationship at play, we've never had like a brother and brother. And so it'll be cool to see Pixar's spin on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it'll be great.
Triplets. Sorry, I'm thinking brothers.
No, I mean, brothers have been.
I know.
Brothers have existed in the Pixar universe. So here's the other thing that we're going to talk about. So this is going to be released on March 6th of 2020. So you got a little bit of a wait. We still have the excitement of Toy Story 4 that's going to be coming, but March 6th, 2020.
We all predicted.
But isn't this the first time a spring opening?
That's
March.
That was my next point. Yeah.
First time March.
It's always June and November.
June and November. Yeah.
It went from November, which was every year from Toy Story up and through Toy Story or Monsters Inc. Finding Nemo was the first one to jump to May.
Right.
And then from then on, it's been May, June, and November, and this is the first like springtime March release.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works too. I thought, I mean, it would have been, if you're talking about something with a father, we had talked about it before, that if it was a June release, it would have worked perfect with Father's Day, and they could have gone that way. But it still doesn't mean, I mean, when they did Coco, they bring it back around a second time. Is it probably a smart idea to release this thing and then just say, go see it one more time in June with your father?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's kind of cool to go get like the one more for that weekend.
Yeah, I like that, and I could totally see that happening too.
Yeah,
because they've been doing that kind of thing lately, especially if it's as the way it sounds. It's very. I mean, we have the brother relationship, but it's heavily revolving around the father relationship. It sounds like as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be, along the journey, you're going to keep learning more and more about the father. So it culminates in this reveal of the father. Well, maybe, I mean, is there enough magic in the world? It would seem like that would be the payoff, but you never know.
That almost sounds, the way you described that kind of sounded Finding Dory-esque, little clues and little clips and memories throughout to eventually kind of formulate into the reveal. I don't know. That's
true. I wonder if it'll be the flashbacks, or will it be
like little snippets of images, things like that?
Or is it literally going to be the intro to the movie? Is this going to be like an up-level emotional intro where we're going to start the film with young characters, and then the father passes away, and then all of a sudden flash forward to where the kids are the age they are now, where they're going to go on this journey, the teenagers?
That almost sounds Finding or The Good Dinosaur-esque though too.
I feel like they're
at the beginning.
Right. That's the easy answer.
It'll be now.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool too.
Maybe they stumble across something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Many ways they could take.
We have many discussions about this coming up when the teasers and everything and D23 comes out.
Yep.
A year and 3 months away, and we still have Toy Story 4 ahead of us too. There's going to be a lot of discussions coming up.
Oh yeah, we're going to have a lot.
You know what? Someone called a psychic post, because our June 15th, 2018 post we said is Dan Scanlon's film titled Onward.
So this we can't take full credit for, because yes, on June 15th we posted that a keen-eyed user on Reddit had spotted a European trademark filing from Disney that said Disney Pixar Onward, and then we actually dug into it later. An American trademark came up because they did the European one, then the American one. And if you go to the trademark filing, you can actually see what categories they're filing it for. So it was like merchandise, shirts, toys. It went through all these things, like all the accoutrement that comes with it, as far as like, bubble blowers and all these other little things that they always the tchotchkes. They had that. What'd you say?
Bubble blowers and tchotchkes?
Yeah. So they had.
Wait for the merch for this one.
Yeah. So they had those things included. So that's why we speculated that that's what it was going to be tied to. And then, of course, the speculations were always there. Like Dan already said, that this next movie, since it was at the 2017 D23 Expo, we figured no matter what, it's going to be the next one that's probably coming. But curiously enough, Pixar fan 939 in the comments here has mentioned that we're still getting another Pixar release on June 19th, 2020. However, everything else is unknown, and that's only a 3-month gap.
Yeah.
Oh, that's bizarre.
It is very different.
6 months was quick. The first time we had 2 in a year, that was weird. It's like, what? Already another one? And like the other one barely was out of the theaters by the time we're already marketing for this next one. And 3 months apart? What?
Yeah, Inside Out and then Good Dinosaur right after it.
Yeah,
and this is even quicker. So we'll see.
I know. So it got me thinking too, when the news came out today, why today?
I don't know.
Exactly noon. So this was obviously planned. Exactly noon today.
Right.
Bam, dropped it. And like, I was at work and I happened to be on my phone. Luckily, like with my job being in social media, I'm on the computer all day. So it's easy to hop on and to see news throughout the day. And it just like came out of nowhere.
Oh yeah. I had just hung up with him. He's at a work lunch. And then I call him back. We get off the phone. I'm driving our son to swim class. So I'm in the car. And then I see the alert on my phone and I call him right back. I'm like, did you see this? And he's like, see what?
I'm trying to order a burger.
I almost texted you, but I'm like, they're so quick. They would be on it like that.
Yeah. So he had to write the post because I'm driving to swim class. And then.
Well, here, let me set the stage. Okay.
Yeah.
So we walk into Mason's Burger Bar. Anybody in the Detroit area? It's a renowned burger joint. They bid on the beef every morning at the Eastern Market. So
I've never been there.
It's quite delicious. So you walk in and it is so dark, your eyes have to adjust for the darkness. I'm ordering. I get
it's very setting for the Onward.
It is for Onward. I was on an adventure. If only I were a teenager. And so I order. So I'm about to order. Julie calls me back, and I'm like, "Hang on, she's calling me back. Like this is like 2 seconds." And chilling like a villain. Is this live? Yes, it is. I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Like, so meanwhile, the guy that I'm with, my buddy, he's like, I'm bidding on something on eBay for Star Wars that he's been trying to acquire, and so we're trying to go back and forth. He's on the Hangout right now. Yeah. He is pointing out that he used a coupon. So Kyle is in the Hangout, and he was the one that bought me the burger. So he had to buy one, get one. So thank you, Kyle. But regardless.
But anyway, he had to do the post on his phone.
So meanwhile, I'm trying to talk to him, and I'm like trying to like not be totally rude and like
the spacing wasn't working.
Yeah, the spacing wasn't working. I'm trying to like post on our system in there. And it was insane. So anyways, I'm glad it was done. I had to hurry back and then use a couple more minutes, fix the spacing real quick and move on. But it was quite the adventurous day. We're always seem to be doing something. It's one of those burger joints that you go in, it's dark, you come out.
Normally if something breaks, I do it because I'm a stay-at-home mom. So
if it breaks, meaning like it hits if it hits the news, if it comes out real quick. So
but swim class day.
swim
class day.
Yeah. So I want to know why today. What was it about today?
Yeah, I don't know.
And I'm still just letting it sink in. Literally a year and 6 months away. Like this one we knew about from 2 years ago.
Right.
Like it's been, we've known this was coming for a long time now. We have another one 3 months after this, and we have zero clue. Not even a hint.
No.
Yeah, but we don't even know the short films.
No. Correct. Yeah, somebody else commented on that as well. We don't know short films, like what's coming for that. Now, speaking of short films, I'm just going to take a slight diversion. Is there a possibility there is no short film? Because we saw Ralph Breaks the Internet. There was no short film attached to that.
Yeah, but that's Disney.
Haven't seen
it still is Disney, but they've done short films.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have been doing them with everyone for the last while now.
I mean, Coco didn't have one.
Yeah, that's because of that Frozen thing.
Yeah.
That's true. Coco didn't either.
Didn't have one.
It didn't, because that one like took its place. But
yeah, so somebody's chilling like a villain. I have a feeling it's going to be like Coco 2.0 because they described it as two brothers spending one day with their dead father. Yeah, I mean that is definitely something that's out there, but it's different in the sense, like you said, you're not traveling between the two worlds.
Well, yeah, it's like a different feeling because they're yearning.
Yeah.
For something that's, I feel like, deep. I don't know.
And James is asking who's going to direct that June 2020 movie. So we don't know. The only thing that we can say for sure is that it was announced that Mark Andrews is working on another film, and that's been in the works for a while, as well as Domi Shi. Now, Domi Shi's was greenlit, but she couldn't have even started on it until after Bao happened, which she directed.
So Pete Docter has been working on one too.
Oh, that's right. Pete Docter has been working on one too.
2020.
Which one is it? It's so crazy.
If I had to take a stab at it, I'd have to say Mark Andrews.
I mean, that's what my gut's telling me, but it's just so bizarre that
because it's the longest one. Like, I mean, if you think about it, Inside Out was 2015. It takes on average 5 to 6 years to make one of these films, and Pete Docter has been known to be done early and or have his films really buttoned up. So there's a possibility it would be his if you've got a 5-year difference between the two.
Okay, so back to Onward.
Sorry.
Vocal cast.
Yeah.
Because I'm excited about the vocal cast.
Yeah, so let's talk about it. So
that was
as part of the press release, so Pixar Animation Studios reveals today that its vocal cast for the original new feature film Onward includes Chris Pratt from Guardians of the Galaxy, Tom Holland from Spider-Man Homecoming, Julia Louis-Dreyfus from Veep, I added in A Bug's Life, and Octavia, which by the way, isn't that just like the obvious low-hanging fruit to put in A Bug's Life? And Octavia Spencer, The Shape of Water, The Help, and many others. But what are you excited about?
Okay, so I have an idea on the vocal cast.
I love it.
Okay, so I think Chris Pratt is going to be the older brother.
Okay.
Like the secondary character.
Okay.
I think Tom Holland is going to be like, I don't want to say Dan Scanlon's role, but I feel like he's going to be like the main brother, the younger brother.
Tom Holland's the main brother. Chris Pratt is the secondary brother going along. Okay.
I feel like.
Well, let's pause there for a quick second. Okay. In the chat, let us know what you think, if that's how it's going to align, or if they're just going to be other characters and maybe not even main characters. We don't know. I mean, it sounds like they're going to be the key, so that's probably the case. But while people are writing anything in there, Dan, what do you think about that?
What do I think? Like who?
Yeah, as far as will Tom Holland be the main elf, and then, or is there not a main? Are they equal? And then Chris Pratt would be the secondary.
I thought of it as kind of equal. Like if you see a lot of the buddy movies Pixar has done, like for example, Monsters Inc. I don't know if
that's true. There's not really a main. Buzz and Woody are pretty even.
Yeah, Buzz and Woody are pretty equal. I mean, it's essentially Woody's story all the way through. And Monsters Inc. You could say that it was maybe Sully's because it ends with him and it was kind of his arc, maybe. But for the most part, they're a team the whole entire movie working together, and that's kind of how I saw this one.
Yep.
But I don't know. I mean, I definitely think that Chris Pratt's the older, Tom Holland's the younger. But I don't know if they're going to put one more front and center than the other.
Oh, I feel like they are.
Okay.
But
I don't know why. True. I just feel it.
It's both. It's both the shared goal, though, of trying to get this one last moment with the dad, which is where I agree with Dan. But I like the idea of making one the primary and the other one that's because they're going to have to learn something along this journey as well.
I know they're going to work together, but I just feel like one's going to.
There's always one that's a little bit more, like I said, like Woody's. It's more Woody's story. It's more Sully's story. Monsters. It's always a little bit more. So I think there is going to be one that has maybe more of an arc, or that it is following them a little bit more than the other. But I don't think it's going to be drastic. I think that mostly.
Yeah, because I know it's a common goal because it's their dad.
Yeah.
And it's probably like a 3 to 5 year age gap.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I just feel like one is gonna.
I feel like maybe like if you're talking about like the core heart of the movie, maybe Tom Holland's character then.
Yeah, I feel like Chris Pratt will be a little sillier.
Yep. Is there any concern? Because I talk about this when we talk about vocal casts. Is there any concern in anybody's mind that Chris Pratt will be too Chris Pratt? No. Like, for instance, Tom Hanks. Everybody knows Tom Hanks's voice. Everybody knows Tim Allen's voice.
But you're in the roles.
But they become that character.
They do.
Sometimes when you watch one of these movies in the vocal cast, it's, you only can see the actor and not the character. I think a lot of that is character development and how they write it. but Pixar doesn't have people do voices. They just do their actual voice. So I'm curious what people think, if it's going to be a little too Chris Pratt-y, or is it going to blend in enough and we're not even going to think about it?
Okay, so I'm going to blow your mind right now.
All right.
Because we talk.
Yeah.
We talk about this a lot. A Bug's Life. Every time we watch A Bug's Life and I hear Julia Louis-Dreyfus, I said it kind of weird.
Yeah, whatever.
All I hear is Elaine from Seinfeld.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, see, I never watched it. So.
But for Onward, that's because we're old. But for Onward, I am excited for her because I see her as the mother. I see her as the elf's mom, and I see her because she's kind of silly, but she could be like sweet and caring. I think it's because I've seen like roles, you know, as she's progressed and stuff.
Right.
With what she, but I'm excited because I feel like I can differentiate that now. Whereas Bug's Life, all I hear is Elaine Bennis.
That's correct. I do too.
But this one, I feel like I'm not. And that's weird because I talk about it all the time. So why would this one be different? But I feel like it will.
Hey, that's cool.
Maybe it's because it's so far removed. I don't know.
Yeah.
I only hear like, I feel like that her voice in A Bug's Life just like perfectly captures that character. I love her voice work in that. But I didn't know her from anything else as a kid. So I've only ever known her as that role. But because I do like her voice acting, I like her tone, I like the way that she voice acts, I'm excited to see her back in another Pixar film after 20 plus years.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exciting news.
Yeah,
I like that a lot. As far as Chris Pratt, I know you're posing the question, TJ, but I don't know if you have that concern. I'll say that I have it a little bit because I've only ever seen him do Chris Pratt.
Right. Yeah.
Lego Movie.
Like even in the Lego Movie.
Yeah.
Lego Movie, he's literally that. Like Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, they have a way of the way that they project their voice in those movies is not their normal voice. He even says it's like tiring on their voice because he has to like tighten the diaphragm or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
To get that. So it's not like he's just speaking. Chris Pratt, I feel like his vocal work in the Lego Movie or even in his role in Guardians, like I've never seen him, or in what's Parks and Rec. I have a feeling it's just going to be him. It's going to be really hard for me because I've heard him so much these days. He's
everywhere. Yeah.
Well, I feel like this is the most like current, like most relevant star power they've had, where it's like the star who is like
he's at the top of the game right now. Yeah.
Like usually it's someone who has been in the past, or maybe someone, but I feel like this is like very, very pop culture for Pixar to go casting him, but they did it for a reason. And
I mean,
bring the emotion to it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see. I don't know if I have that concern yet, but I mean, it's a question that I have on almost every film that comes out with vocal acting. Is I'm always just curious about that, is when I watch it, am I going to see the actor or am I going to see the character? And like I said, I think a lot of it comes down to the development. If you get invested enough in the character, then you don't even think about it.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think that can change it too. So, and knowing Pixar, they develop their characters really well. So
yeah, well, and it's funny because every time we watch Finding Dory, because our son really loves watching Finding Dory, I keep waiting for Sweet D to say Sweet D things from It's Always Sunny.
Right. So we love It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia as well. And yes, whenever D or whatever Destiny is on screen, we definitely now hear her. Whereas like when we first saw it, I didn't think it.
Kind of like art.
But I will say with Bailey, sorry to interrupt you, Dan. I will say with Bailey, I've always had a problem with it because I can't separate Ty Burrell from Bailey.
Oh.
So
I guess he's not in it enough for me to.
That's true too. Yeah.
But Octavia Spencer.
So yes, let's talk about the other one. So we've got Octavia Spencer. What do you think about?
Okay, so I think Octavia Spencer, I don't know if I want to put her in like a grandma type role, or if she's going to be like another kind of elf that helps them on their way discover the magic or something, because her voice is so, it's like a hug.
But it's also so big and silly and fun.
Yeah, but I feel like she's got such like a soothing tone, and just the way her voice is. I don't know. I feel like she's going to be the one, like Mama Odie in
Princess and the Frog.
Princess and the Frog. Like she was the one that kind of like helped with the magic and everything. So I kind of
that's interesting.
I kind of feel like she's like in that kind of role.
I thought she was going to be straight comedic role in this.
Oh, I feel like she's going to be like a warm.
Oh man, this is going to be
still maybe a little silly, but I feel like she's more like a presence, like a.
Yeah. Did you have any thoughts on that, Dan?
She was the one I questioned the most, not as far as like concern or anything, but just like what her voice sounds like, because I don't watch a lot of stuff that she's in. She's been in a lot of dramas lately. She was in that the
Help, Shape of Water.
Yeah, not Shape of Water. I was thinking about that too, but
the woman, the astronauts.
Yes, that one. Yeah, so,
Hidden Figures.
Yeah, that's it. That's a good movie.
But yeah, so those dramas, and I haven't seen her in a lot. I haven't seen her in like a straight comedic role. So what I did as soon as I heard that, I wanted to like Google her like on a talk show. I think I found her on something just to hear and like close my eyes and try to picture her voicing an animated character. I still can't. I don't know if her voice doesn't sound like it's like really unique, like something that would set you apart in voice acting. But I don't know her well enough, and I don't know what she's going to do with the role. She could do something totally different than her normal self. So I can't picture that one yet. But what do you think, TJ?
So it's funny because I don't have a clue now, because I thought she was going to be comedic. You said like warm and loving.
Oh yeah.
Dan's kind of like, I'm not sure. And Chillin' Like a Villain is saying in the comments that it's going to be a villain.
Oh boy.
Oh, I don't know if there's going to be a villain. I think it's going to like Coco us again.
It's going to Coco us.
Ended up having a villain.
But it wasn't like a villain.
Yeah, it's not like traditional villain where like when I think of villains,
Hopper, it wasn't.
Yeah, like they're like the person that's coming down on them the whole time. Exactly, like a Jafar or something like that.
Mordu was kind of like
always kind of lurking there.
But then he wasn't
misunderstood.
Really yeah,
he was a trapped prince.
Maybe it's gonna Mordu us.
That's so funny. Okay, so what was I going to say? Oh, let's talk about this. So Austin Madison, and a story artist who was an animator at Pixar, tweeted that this is essentially a
John Hughes film.
A John Hughes film.
A film. This film is like a John Hughes directed film
by Tolkien.
Yeah.
So this is essentially Lord of the Rings directed by
John Hughes,
or The Hobbit directed by John Hughes. So it's playing on the fact that it's going to be a hilarious fantasy film.
Yes.
So it sounds like there's going to be a lot of, because John Hughes does a lot of humor, but he has those heartfelt moments that are in there too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. But I think if you start saying you're putting the detail of a Tolkien novel with the comedic nature of John Hughes and those heartfelt moments, right. That is like the ultimate description of a Pixar movie.
I know. Do you know what? I really want to see just one little sketch, one little thing. Like just one little thing
with the dragon in the back and like the foreground and like the city in the background.
Yeah, so the original artwork that was from the D23 Expo.
Yeah, but that's not enough.
I feel like I don't know if that's even like if that was just done. And then you think that the logo is going to change.
Well, let's talk about the logo real quick. By the way, hi Vicky, my sister jumped in.
Hi.
So hello, but let's go ahead and share a screen real quick because I want to share. Let me get this over here. Application window. I'm just going to share just the image. So Dan, you let me know if you can see this.
Yep, it's there.
Is it okay? Come on now. Is it full screen there?
It's as full as it's going to get. I think it's good. It's big.
Okay, so with this, what's interesting about it, I want to know Julie's first thought. Well, actually, first, I'll just say my first thoughts, because I think a lot of people, we've had other people comment in Twitter about it too, that this has a very Frozen logo vibe. because of the arc, how it goes like this. It's like a Frozen film. And the prominent Disney Pixar above it, it felt like it, the way that the letters fade. But I felt like it was a mix of Frozen as well as Brave because of like the stone and the metallic nature of it. So Dan is feeling like this is the case. So go ahead, Dan. What are you thinking?
No, I was waiting for it because I'm like, is he gonna go here? Because those are the exact thoughts we're always on the same page somehow.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Read any other thoughts? Like, I never saw anybody talk about that, but I was like, is he gonna say it? Yeah.
Of course I said it.
Combo of Frozen and Brave. More along the Brave, like Brave vibes, but it makes sense because they're both fantasy movies as well.
Yeah. I guess I didn't get that. And I think maybe it's because I was just in the basement like yesterday. So what is that board game that you had? Heroes Quest?
Hero Quest. Hero Quest, yes.
Okay, so I got Hero Quest vibes, and it's because of the W, how it's so pointy.
With the points at the top of the W,
and
yes.
It looks like it's, like I'm looking at it on the other computer, but it looks like metal to me. It looks kind of like a sword. It doesn't look like stone. It looks like metal.
Chilling like a villain says, How to Train Your Dragon vibes.
But yeah, I thought of Hero Quest.
Well, hey, that's
that's the kind of vibe
it's
I got.
one of those role-playing games.
I can see like a Frozen-esque, but I guess not really.
More so.
I can see kind of Brave-ish. So I see just Hero Quest.
That's cool. Hey, we should go get the board game. But so Row 994 says, I was taken aback by the logo because it was so different from the untitled Suburban logo that was revealed at the D23 Expo. And that's definitely different as well.
Right.
But
so you think it's going to change? So do you think it's going to be like Good Dinosaur change?
So Good Dinosaur's logo changed pretty drastically between when they first announced it at the 2013 D23 Expo to...
Remember the head?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think...
And Coco with the guitar and skull change.
Yeah, that was to make it a little more just generally appealing.
Yeah, that was a subtle one, but it was still a change. Almost every time they changed in some way. So I could see where you're coming from there.
I feel like it is. I feel like I get the fact that, it's kind of...
it's going to change.
Okay, I love it. I love when we have these because then we get to determine later, like, who was on thinking on the right path.
Who was wrong?
I was just gonna say who was on the right path instead of the right wrong, but whatever works. So so somebody Tropical Flamingo. I wonder if they're gonna change it because it looks too similar to Frozen. I mean, that is the #1 comment that was out there.
I did see that a lot today.
Too.
Yeah, it's just that whole how it goes bigger and it definitely has that look. When I saw it, I was like, "Oh, that's the logo. Interesting."
Yeah, but do you see,
I do like the W.
That's what got me to. It's like it's like Hero Quest, and like He-Man and all that stuff. Just that and the lighting. That's why it makes me think it's like metal.
Well, yeah, definitely it looks more like metallic-y, like that type of vibe for sure. The colors, that purpley, silvery. Yeah, for sure. And we keep looking over here because it's on that monitor.
It's got 3 monitors here.
I don't have 3. I have 3.
You have 3. You have 4.
So that was such a cool. Yeah, Aaron Thomas Pablo in the comments here. Tolkien and Hughes, yes. So let's talk about a couple more things that were part of this press release. So. Directed by Dan Scanlon, again, we mentioned that. Produced by Corey Ray, who is also the producer and Dan's partner on Monsters University. Slated for release on March 6th. We talked about that. And let's see. At Pixar, so this is what Dan Scanlon says as well. At Pixar, we try to create stories that come from some kind of personal truth. The film was inspired by my own relationship with my brother. According to the filmmakers, they've assembled the vocal cast of, essentially their dream vocal cast. So I think that's
everything that we know so far.
That's everything that we know so far. The only people that have seen anything else. Oh, and Vicky's also saying the logo seems dark. Is it potentially an intense or scary film? I'm changing that up a little bit.
Have those moments for sure. I can almost guarantee it.
Yeah, if you're talking about Austin Madison saying anything with a Tolkien level story, and again, it's not saying it is that story, but
I think
if you're talking,
just saying, using it as an example of like the ultimate fantasy story.
Yes, and the journey, but any one of those ultimate
I
fantasies.
think it's also going to give us never-ending story vibes, and the horse, what Atreyu is going to
the horse
going to go in the quicksand. No, Atreyu's the boy. What was the horse's name?
Oh my gosh.
You know who I'm talking about? That awful scene.
It's been in my brain since I was a little kid. It's
right.
I feel like that it's gonna give us like that level, like where you're just like, oh no, get a stick.
Get a stick.
That's kind of what I feel like. It's gonna be dark, but then it's gonna like hit you with emotion. And then we'll have some light-hearted comments.
I'm just, that Austin Madison comment of it's going to make you want to go along on this journey as well. It makes me feel like there's
like never-ending story kind of thing.
Well, I didn't want to go on that journey. That was scary.
but that was kind of like a fantasy story.
Yeah, but I'm thinking of like the Harry Potter, and I'm not saying it's Harry Potter either.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about where you want to go to that world, and you want to like be part of that film. And that's, I want to go on that journey, even though it's scary at times and intense at times. Plus, I just can't wait for the world building. I mean, we've talked about it at the beginning.
Yeah, who do you think is going to be?
What you mean as far as for like the production designer?
Yeah.
Oh my.
I think it's Harley.
You think it's Harley Jessup?
I do.
He did Coco.
I was thinking there. This sounds like it could be in the realm of who did Inside Out? Ralph Eggleston.
Ralph Eggleston? He just did Incredibles 2.
Oh, he did do that. Okay, never mind.
Wait, do we know who's doing?
Now that's like the earliest stage though, so Ralph may have been done to come on this, but it could
picture his style with like the glowing trees and the mushrooms. Like I can kind of just see it, but I can see a lot of these guys there. And
I would absolutely adore it if it were Harley Jessup because
you're all about the production design.
Yeah, I'm all about a lot of phases of the project, but and so are you. But by the way, so people are now just saying that Chris Pratt, so Tropical Flamingo, Chris Pratt just now made the announcement on Twitter. And Emily Luther just said Tom Holland just put it on Instagram. So that's interesting.
Nice.
Let's check that out. Are there any?
Tom Holland did his earlier today.
Oh,
because I watched it.
Okay.
Because I kind of laughed because he kind of
he did a video on Instagram.
Yeah. Announcing it.
Yeah.
As far as the world building, that was a point I wanted to hit on and I always do, but I can't help it because world building is Pixar. When Pixar shines, like
it's key. It's key.
Anytime any other films that maybe were less on the world building, I feel like maybe were the weaker ones. The ones that have the world building, the Monsters Inc., the Inside Out, the Coco, all those ones, like they're the cleverness of Pixar shines the most when you see the different spins on jobs and careers and homes and everyday objects in a new twist.
Yeah.
They'll do. We've seen so many. We've seen Inside the Mind. We've seen so many things, and now to have their spin on like classic fairy tale or like medieval / fantasy tropes and creatures, and have their spin on it. Something I've always wondered if Pixar would ever tackle. Like I've always gone through the things that everyone loves as a kid: dinosaurs, toys, bugs. The one thing on my list that was always there was dragons, and How to Train Your Dragon kind of took that whole thing, but this is a way for them to do dragons and fantasy, and I feel like that's been missing from like the Pixar lineup of classic stuff to tackle.
Absolutely. So Jace Deal, so hey Jace, posted in here that Chris Pratt tweeted this. He said, "So thrilled to be part of this. I can't tell you much, but I will tell you this. When we visited Pixar to hear the pitch, I straight up cried. This one is next level."
Of course, as we're all predicting.
And he said, "God willing, in a year and a half, you'll be moved as well. We have a beautiful story coming your way."
Yeah, Jace also questioned. He threw a question: who do you think will voice the elf dad? Do you think we'll hear it?
He'll definitely. voice.
I had a theory.
I have one too. I'm wondering, it's mind-blowing.
So I didn't know if Dan Scanlon would voice the elf dad.
I think so.
Or if he would include any original audio of his father in it.
I don't know that it would be high quality enough, but I bet some of what he hears will maybe the actual, which would be just like.
But I did think about.
I thought Dan would be cool.
Or his brother.
His brother could, yeah.
But
this is going to be great to see this. I mean, I'm so bought into this.
I am too.
I'm so bought into it. I'm bought into this at the level of Inside Out and Coco.
It's the world building. That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Both of those had extraordinary world building, and it's those type of worlds that we like crave when it comes to Pixar.
Oh, I'm all about I'm so interested in the story and the characters. Yeah. Just everything.
Pixar, but I'm just saying, like, especially these worlds that you want to go in and you don't want to leave. Like, you want to learn more about, like you said, TJ, like a whole mythology they could create here with their own take on like fantasy mythology, have their own rules and have their own, myths that they could even go off into other. I don't know if this will, warrant a sequel or shorts or anything like that, but it sounds like there's a lot to explore with the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so another question came up in here, and I don't know where it went right now. Do we think? So Pixar fan 939, who do you think will do the music? I could totally see Michael Giacchino doing this. I could too.
Always.
And what did you say?
Always. He can transform his style into anything.
Yep. Yeah. But I'm gonna take a step outward here, and I'm actually gonna say this is a Thomas Newman.
Oh.
I was gonna say that too.
Not a Randy Newman. I think it's a Thomas Newman because Thomas Newman does that ethereal so well. Here's where Randy Newman could come in, because of if there's a suspenseful scene, I think Randy does builds really well when it comes to that type of with the horns and the swells of the strings and everything, whereas Thomas is more electronic.
All three of them have done some fantastic work within Pixar and some amazing themes. I would be happy with all three of them. Whoever it is, I do think it's going to be one of the staples, like one of Pixar staples.
You think it's going to be one of them and not somebody original?
I don't think so.
Yeah, but what about Brave?
It'll be a one-off again.
Brave, they brought on specifically Patrick
something.
Patrick Doyle, because
there you go.
Had the heritage. The only time that they went off the beaten path with composers was Patrick Doyle and then Michael Dana for Good Dinosaur. I think all of the other ones have been the mainstay.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
oh man, I don't know. I don't want to guess this one. I can't.
I'm still saying Thomas.
Oh, I can go with that. I'll just say Michael Giacchino just to make it different.
Okay.
But it could. Yours is just as.
Oh, I might be with you too. I might be with Giacchino.
Okay, you're thinking a little Michael.
Because Randy Newman doing this year, and at that point, Michael Giacchino he wouldn't have done one since Coco, and so there is that time. Like he has the time.
He did Incredibles too.
Oh, he did. Yeah, never mind. So
well, and one can only assume that Randy Newman's doing Toy Story 4.
Yeah.
Which would put them back to back, which isn't impossible. I mean, it takes a while, but
Dan used Randy Newman and before, so they have worked together.
Right.
That tie as well with MU.
But MU, I feel like is like here and I feel like they're different vibes.
Totally different thing, but that's the thing. I don't really know.
Yeah.
But speaking of MU though, it's cool to make comparisons with that one and the vibes that you could be getting from this one with his how you like big casts, TJ. I have a feeling this is gonna be a big cast movie. Like MU.
Love the more characters, the better.
And I think this is gonna be one of those. It's not gonna be slim like the Good Dinosaur. I feel like this is gonna go big. One of those character posters. I could picture all the characters.
Oh yeah. The mushroom houses, the elves, the dragons. Yes.
He's done this before with MU, so he's like the perfect one to tackle this big cast of all these creatures and kooky characters.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder who's going to be working on characters.
Oh, character design and everything.
Yeah.
Now, what's funny is my brain went right back to Robert Kondo, Dice Sassoumi.
Who worked on MU?
Chris Sasaki. Okay, Chris Sasaki. But wait, he moved over to...
They're all at Tonko House.
They're all at Tonko House. Yeah.
They started it.
We have Daniel Arriaga. He's on it, but not in character on it. I don't know what he's doing, but he's on it.
Okay, so how about this?
Jason Deemer
and Ricky Nirva.
Well, because they worked on MU.
Oh, I love Ricky's work.
Yes.
Yeah,
well, Rick,
both did MU.
So that's where I'm going to think. I'm going to go with those.
Well, I guess we'll just have to find out.
That's right.
As we always say.
Oh, to be a fly through Pixar, looking at all that art.
Now, go ahead.
I just said we shall see, as we always say.
So I'm also going to say I think that it's for the production, I think it's going to be. Why am I drawing a blank on this? Sharon?
Sharon Callahan?
Yes.
For lighting?
I think she's going to do more of this. Oh, Emily Luther jumping in with Peter Sohn. Peter Sohn could definitely be involved, and Will probably is involved in this. He might be at the story level. But yeah, I think Sharon Callahan, because she did so much for The Good Dinosaur, and there was so much with her. She created all that overall vibe because they had to do it quickly. And I think she's going to do it, even though she's usually director for, photography for lighting as far as overall. But I think she's going to do it.
Wait, for lighting or for characters?
I think she's going to. No, I think she's going to do production.
Lighting.
Production, because I was going to say
she did all those pastel backgrounds and everything for. Well, you're right. That wasn't.
Yeah, she helped production with that.
She helped production, but she was involved in it
because Harley was with Good Dinosaur.
Yeah, he was involved too.
He was the production designer.
All right, you're right.
I know I'm right.
I'm just saying because they pulled her in because she did so much of that.
Well, she's an amazing artist as well. So she would do paintings, visual paintings on what the lighting, her team, Yeah, in the same way that, okay. But Ralph Eggleston did all those color scripts for Inside Out as well as for Incredibles 2. Anyways, we don't want to diverge too much into this because we could guess people that are going to work on it all day. It could be somebody totally new that gets put into the role. It's always exciting.
It's always exciting. I love doing these. Do we have anything else that we need to be covering off on this?
I don't know. I just bought a cake at the grocery store and I can't wait to go downstairs and eat a piece of cake. It's almost midnight.
But I do have one more thing.
Yes, I love it.
But just going off what you were just saying, who you were just talking about, did she do the lighting for Good Dinosaur?
Sharon Callahan, yes, she did.
Yeah,
because and it's funny you mentioned that because what I was picturing, because I'm picturing a lot of glowing stuff in this.
Yes,
movie.
Absolutely.
And I was picturing the lightning bug scene.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite scenes, probably of all Pixar. I love that scene and the way it's lit, the music and everything. I'm picturing a lot of this movie, that level of beauty with those dark blues and the lights, that kind of stuff at nighttime. I just picture all that. Anyway, that made me think of that.
Absolutely. And she was involved with some of the glowing look, her and Tia Cratter with Bug's Life.
And Brave too.
Within the anthill. That's a perfect example of the magic I'm expecting from this. Yep,
exactly.
That glow.
I did find a press release that has a little bit more on the filmmaker's thoughts on the voice cast.
Okay, yeah. That was I just didn't include it, but feel free.
Oh, you already read it then.
Yeah, I think it's in our post. Is it where they talk about it's quotes on each of the vocal actors?
Yeah, it's really generic. I don't have to read it if you have it on your post. It's very general thoughts, but I just had it here just in case as well.
Oh, if there's one that was a standout, feel free by any means because we're just blabbing.
If there's any clues as to who they could be, so Chris brings equal parts huge heart and fantastic humor to his character. That's Corey Ray talking. Tom has an infectious charm and sincerity that makes you root for him in every character that he plays, says Scanlon. There is no one funnier than Julia, said Scanlon, but she also brings warmth and loving side to her character.
See?
The motherly side.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this is interesting, going along with our predictions for Octavia's character. And this just adds to your confusion, TJ. Octavia can do it all. We're especially excited about the depth as well as humor that she brings to her character. So again, very general.
But she can do it all. I mean, she's like, her roles, I mean, they're really
They've
like
been
from
all over
humorous
the place, right?
to like dramatics.
Yeah, so I don't know if that helps narrow down like their roles. It's very general, but I just wanted to include that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Jace just mentioned his favorite scene in MU is your favorite scene in MU.
I think it's almost everybody's, where they're overlooking that Camp Lake and the water is just. I will never forget. We went to the screening, the charity screening that Dan Scanlon was at, because he brought it to Michigan because he's from Michigan, like us.
Mm-hmm.
And we walked out of there, and that's one of the first things we said is like, we loved the fact of not only how that scene looked. We actually had people contact us, another side note, about that scene, and they wanted it as a poster. And I'm like, I don't know how to get it as a poster.
You're like, but if I did,
but
I'd have it on my wall.
Exactly.
As you talk about the mud on the feet.
So I talked to Dan specifically, and I said, I love the fact of how the mud looked on Mike's feet as he walked around, as he, got up and started talking to Sully and being like, getting his emotions out. And he was like, oh, I'm so glad you said that. We spent a long time on that. And, a lot of detail went into that. So I'll be sure to tell the artists that worked on it. And like, that was like one of those moments where you're just like, oh my gosh, everything. And then don't even get me started on when Sully is running away and then trying to climb up that mud wall.
Oh, yeah.
And the rate at which the dirt is falling and how it slows as it gets near the bottom and everything. And I'm like, oh, come on.
Meanwhile, one of the standout scenes for me is when Mike wants to start, join this, like the scare games and stuff. And they're all outside in that cul-de-sac with the fraternities and sororities around.
Yeah.
And it is like a fall day. So there's no direct sun. It's all clouded.
Right.
Like but it's like that light. I don't know. I commented on that. That's
where it's like even lighting
like
everywhere.
Even light, but it's like light, but you still see like I don't know. That stood out to me.
Yeah.
He's a good director when it comes to knowing exactly what he wants when it comes to lighting and effects and framing. I mean, you get all that from MU.
MU is probably one of the most watched Pixar films that we turn on
for us.
Yeah. We watch it a lot.
Very high rewatchability, just because it's so much fun.
And so Dan is a fun guy. He has a great sense of humor, and so I'm so excited. He's a funny dude. He's in real life. His humor translates super well to Pixar films. I expect a lot of great things from this, from a technological and a story standpoint. I think it's gonna be great.
By the way, I kind of feel weird, like we talked about at the top of this, talking about Onward, when Toy Story 4, like we don't even know anything about that really. I mean, it's been like a trailer and everything, like the teaser basically.
Yeah.
I feel like we know more about the story of Onward than we do Toy Story 4.
We definitely know more about the story. We don't know really anything. So
we kind of know the same.
We did until
Well, we know they're new characters. We saw what the characters look like. We didn't see the characters of Onward yet. You always don't know what you're talking about.
I'm talking about story time. Story-wise, like, story time. We know that, like, the characters go on this adventure to find magic in the world. The only thing we know about Toy Story 4 story-wise is that Buzz and Woody are in it, and apparently it's a love story for Bo Peep.
But we don't even know that anymore because
it has not been confirmed. You are correct.
That's why it's so, like, we don't know anything. All we know in the official new synopsis, all we know is a RV trip.
Correct. That there's a trip.
All we know. Right. And that there's a carnival involved somehow.
Right. Right. That's less
and
story.
It's very emotional.
That's less story. Okay, yeah.
Okay,
all right.
About the same. We know about the same about both movies, which is crazy because
this is wild.
One, but
yeah. So I mean, just think about it. From here, we've got 4 additional Pixar films that have dates that we still don't know anything about. So I would expect the next D23 Expo is going to be jam-packed with film announcements.
Dan, are you going?
Yeah.
That's the plan as of now. But that was the plan last time too.
You haven't bought tickets yet?
A wedding got in the way. There is no wedding getting in the way this time. No one I know is even remotely close to getting married. Everyone I know is married, so I should be good.
Yep.
But thinking back on D23, the last one we went to, think about it. That slate was huge. There was Good Dinosaur hadn't come out yet.
You're talking about the 2013 one.
The 2015.
Oh, 2015. Yeah, so 2015. You're right.
The posters on the wall. We still had Good Dinosaur.
No, Good Dinosaur came out.
No. It was right before Good Dinosaur. It was
because August, and then Good Dinosaur was November.
Yeah. So we still had Good Dinosaur. They had shown footage from Finding Dory. There was Incredibles 2 was just announced. What am I missing? Coco had been announced. They had shown that clip from it. And then Toy Story 4 was even announced clear back then.
Yeah. Yep.
So that was like a huge docket. And right now our docket's very small for the future. That was looking ahead quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. So. It looks like we're jumping back a little bit. So somebody's saying they're going to be at D23. Cool, Jillian. And then Emily Luther, Domi Shi directing a full-length feature film? Yep, absolutely. Check PixarPost.com for the latest on Domi Shi. So I think that about covers what we have to cover on this, right? More to come. What's that, Dan?
I said I think so, and we can never keep it less than an hour because
what's amazing.
Time to eat cake.
We have not even seen anything more than a logo and like basically a 2-sentence story thing, and we just talked an hour on it.
We're such nerds.
We have problems.
Put on MU now and fall asleep to that. Now I'm in the mood.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. So, all right. Well, in the meantime, everybody that's joining here, thank you so much for your comments in here. We've got a lot of D23. When do you think we'll get word on a Toy Story 4 short film? We kind of talked about that a little bit earlier. It's amazing that we haven't heard anything about any short films. We're still waiting to hear more about the Monsters Inc. television series that's going to be coming to Disney Plus.
Disney Plus is this coming fall, so we're probably close to an announcement.
So like we're about a year away. So yeah, I don't know.
It'll probably be next week at noon on Swing Class Day, like it was today.
Well, that was announced so early on that I feel like that will be one of the initial startup series.
Yeah, I think it's planned to be. So yeah.
So I think that will be with the launch and less than a year out. And so next week at noon I'll be staying tuned.
Yeah.
Never know.
Amish Paradise 27, aka Tyler, is saying Disney Plus is a license to print money. Absolutely.
Yes.
True. We're gonna take
everything.
Yep. I'm subscribing day one.
Yep.
Absolutely. So all right. Well, until next time, until we hear more about Toy Story 4 or Onward or whatever else might come up Pixar related or a short film, be sure to stay tuned to PixarPost.com all week for the latest Pixar news. Bye.
Bye.